Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our live stream preview of the World Test Championship. We're just an hour and a half away from the most coveted occasion of the year where India will be playing an ICC final. And India's hunt for the trophy for the last 10 years continue. And at the same time, Australia would want to complete their trophy cabinet by winning the only trophy which is missing in their trophy cabinet. That is the ICC World Test Championship. So both the teams have got additional motivations to do it. So India have been, you can say, the best test team in the last decade or so by winning almost in every country, defeated Australia in Australia, by doing a phenomenal job in England, competing in South Africa. And home record has been phenomenal, of course. Nobody beats India at home. And last time India played a home series, it was against Australia a couple of months ago. The Border Gavaskar Trophy, you can say it's a continuation of it. I have Antariksh with me. Antariksh, how pumped up are you? Because this is a second live for cricket we are doing. Last time we did a preview, it was the IPL, and now it's the WTC final. So yeah, it's been the final week, and now we have a Champions League final in a couple of days. So we've been doing all finals in the last 1 week.
Absolutely, man. Now, let's leave the Champions League final. That is for me a bigger sort of woe. But no, man. What a day! I mean, it's been a long time since we lifted an ICC trophy, the trophies, which we compete for in international cricket, and I think it was Champions Trophy, which was the last one
Yep,
in 13, and it's
Champions
been
Trophy in
10
England.
long years, man. 10 long years. How many finals have we made? Like I think two, three.
We've been to like a Champions Trophy final, the World Cup
Yeah.
semi-final, 2016 World Cup semi-final, 2015 World Cup semi-final. We've been semis and we crash out. So,
I think
uh,
wasn't it the final in an ICC T20 thingy?
yeah, same thing. So in T20 World Cup 2014 as well, we played the final. Then in
Yeah,
2021, we played the World Test Championship final. So many
exactly,
semi-finals and final, but not crossing the line. We're there, but
exactly.
not there.
Yeah, exactly. There and yet so far, near and yet so far, as they say, man.
Yeah,
But I don't know. This time it maybe feels we could do something, but there's this
yeah,
always, I don't know, with India and like obviously we've been good abroad and outside the subcontinent, but I don't know. I just it's just कि जब हम थोड़े time बाद खेलते हैं, I just have this feeling, that traditional Indian team, non-subcontinent pitches and swinging ball moving around and
yeah.
89 for 5, like that kind of a score line, which sort of has sort of traditionally defined us if we don't take in account the last 4 5 years,
Yeah,
so like before
yeah,
that. तो उसमें थोड़ा सा रहता है यार. Apart from that, if we, again we win the toss, we get to a good start. I think test match cricket has become sort of so I don't know, non old fashioned, that it's almost like you can decide upon the first second day that if your team is ahead or not, because
yeah,
earlier
yeah,
they
yeah,
used to be the Dravids and
yeah,
all
yeah.
of these
I
batsmen who
mean,
could play two
the
days
matches
out and
also only last for 3.5 days these days, So
exactly,
second day is like the
exactly,
moving day.
exactly. So your one day is almost like 30% of the game gone now. So you don't really have much left after that. So yeah, man, but pretty excited. That's the verdict, and let's see how we come up against this fierce Australian side. As you said, that's the
Yeah,
only trophy they're missing their hands from. So yeah.
absolutely. So I think we will get into the squad first up. I think that's the right way to go about it. But let's talk about Indian squad because there's a lot of conundrum at this point of stage as to who's going to make it to India's playing 11. Whether India going to
Yeah,
go with two spinners, one spinner, four pacers, three
yeah,
pacers. So there's a lot of questions. Who's a keeper? Lot of question mark. If you look at the other side of things, Australia almost very very clear as to Scott Boland is replacing Josh Hazelwood, who's ruled out
yeah,
of the final, and they're
yeah.
possibly they're set 11. So let's start out with Indian squad because that's where a lot of debating points are there at this point of stage. But you have to say if you look at that order right now, which is on the screen, but let's just remove KL Rahul from there because Ishan Kishan is put there. So that's the only change from the initial squad, which was announced by India. So let's just put Ishan Kishan there. So if you look at the order, you can see Rohit, Shubman, Chiteshwar, Virat, Ajinkya is set to play almost. Now the question is whether it's going to be Bharat or Ishan Kishan, and Ravindra Jadeja is a sure starter. Now the biggest question whether Ashwin plays or not. Now it's not often in a team like this where you talk about a player of Ashwin's caliber,
Yeah.
474 Test match wickets to be left out of the squad. But then you have to take into account the conditions. We are playing in England. The pitch looks very green. Whether India are going with four pacers and one spinner and Jadeja is the question right now. What do you reckon about that?
And I think I just have no doubt that Ashwin should play. For me, he has to play, not just because of his bowling antics. Like, he's a leader on the pitch. He's a mastermind. He's a tactician. Like, give him any condition. Sri Lanka and subcontinent in India, he'll do it himself. Out of India, he lets his brain do the thinking, and we've seen many a times.
Hmm.
Even though it's not the subcontinent conditions, he
Yeah.
somehow just drifts those balls from round the wicket to the right
Hmm.
handers as well as the left handers, and it gets those
Yeah.
wickets. So when I mean, like, four pacers, it's not as if that we have four pacers who pick themselves. I
Yeah.
think there has to be a decision to be made even in the pacers as well. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's like Bumrah and Shami and everyone's fit and
Yeah.
every one of them deserves a chance. I think we have
Hmm.
to make a decision. So for
Hmm.
me, even for his batting, and again, it's very possible in these conditions you lose a lot of wickets. You have
Hmm.
someone like Ashwin down the order. You know that there is someone you can maybe rely on at least to at least settle down the ship. So I for me, it is no doubt that Ashwin should be playing this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely no doubt.
I mean, that's an interesting point which you make. You have brought in the experience factor here and the more skill acumen as well of Ravichandran Ashwin, because he's played a lot of county cricket in this ground, and
Yeah,
it's not the first time he's playing an oval. But let's look at the pitch conditions, right? Because it's so important to understand what the pitch looks like. It's often that we speak about pitches in India, but we have to talk about pitch right now, which is right in front of us. It looks like a green, lush pitch. It looks like a
yeah,
carpet which is rolled out. A day before, the grass was a lot more. They have tried to trim it off. It has come from
mm,
9 mm to 6 mm as of now it stands, and which certainly means. So that is why I asked you that question, because India has got this
yeah,
tendency to prefer to go with this policy of horses for courses, where let's pick a team for that particular match for that particular condition, and
yeah,
India has been successful enough in doing that. So if you look in the last Test summer in England, which India had, the four Test matches which India played, Ashwin did not feature in a single one. It was
yeah,
always Shardul Thakur who played as a fourth seamer, and with the three seamers of Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami. Now the question is, there is no Bumrah, so Shami and Siraj
exactly.
picked themselves. Now the third pacer, Umesh Yadav, had a awful IPL to say so. He did not look good even in the Border Gavaskar Trophy final Test match. Coming to the fag end of his career to say, you
Yeah,
have Jaydev Unadkat just made Saurashtra win the Ranji Trophy, possibly the biggest workhorse and the biggest leader in terms of the pace ballers in domestic cricket at this point of stage. You know what he can do a job if you are giving him those kind of conditions. Left arm
yeah,
angle, very very tempting to go with him. And then there is a Shardul Thakur, little bit with the bat, a match winner of his own in conditions like England. If you remember the last time India played a test match in England, Shardul Thakur single-handedly won the match for them with the bat. India were
yeah,
6 down, 7 down, played a 50 odd run knock and 30 odd balls, and then picked up wickets with the ball. He has got the knack of doing that single-handed match effort. He's a match winner. We all know that.
yeah.
So the question is Ashwin or Shardul, which you are very clear that you are going with Ashwin. But another question now is, now if you're having Jadeja, I think Jadeja starts for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah. He does, for sure.
So the question is Unadkat or Umesh Yadav?
Oh man, Unadkat, Umesh Yadav, and or Shardul Thakur. I don't know, man. Because now that you mention Unadkat, I was like, maybe not. But that left-handed seaman option, he swings the ball pretty well into the right-hander, which is pretty devastating. Beat at
Just to
any
add
pace from
there,
any bowler.
let's not bring in Unadkat's T20 career, any of their the chat.
Yeah.
Let's not bring that up. Let's focus only on Unadkat, the red ball bowler here.
Exactly. Let's focus on the Unadkat that made Saurashtra do the antics that he did. So, what's your thought on Kishan versus Bharat? Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
we'll come to that. Kohli versus Cummins, of course. There are a lot of battles to be held within our
Yeah,
squads as well as inter teams. So we'll
yeah,
come on to that. But yeah, man, I think I'm happy it's not a decision for me to make. I think it's a good headache to have, especially when Bumrah is missing. It's nice
yeah,
to have this fast bowler sort of discussion wherein who has to go and who doesn't start and stuff. So, if Bumrah would have been here, four seamers, no problem, for sure. No, four seamers, like, you wouldn't have thought about it for a second. Now that Bumrah is not here, and, you can't really, for me, miss out on the experience of Ravichandran and Ashwin. But the comments of our captain Rohit Sharma yesterday, they sort of tell me that I don't think Ravichandran Ashwin would start. Like, I want him to, but I don't think he will. He
yeah,
said, we'll see tomorrow, क्योंकि यहाँ पर पिच दिन टू दिन बदलता है. So when
Hmm.
you say that, which means a day before you are not really planning to have Ashwin in the team.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to change much in the day. So while I want Ashwin to be there, I
Yeah.
think it'll be two of Unadkat, Umesh, and Shardul. And I
Yeah.
think I have a feeling because of his match winning ability and his ball striking ability. I just have a feeling Shardul might get a place.
Hmm. I agree with you as well because uh, there's this tendency with Team India in the recent past, at least, to go in with Shardul Thakur in overseas test matches. You saw what he did in Gabba in 2021
Hmm.
against the same opposition. You saw what he did in England in 2021 as well. So that is
Absolutely.
what he can bring into the fore. As a test match bowler, at least, I think he's so underrated. I know a lot of people remember his spell in Johannesburg in 2022, if I remember, where he went on to pick up 7 wickets in an inning. So Shardul Thakur has got that ability in overseas test matches. We
Yeah.
tend to look at him like a volatile cricketer, especially considering his white ball performance. I think
Yeah.
that's unfair on a lot of these players to take into account two formats. But on a given
Absolutely.
day, what Shardul Thakur can do is very given. He can win you a game. He
Absolutely.
can win you a session, which is so vital in games like this. In a final, you
Absolutely.
want someone with that mentality to go out there and strike the ball, score quick 35, 40 runs, and change the momentum and the course of the game, and go out there and pick up those wickets, which he can do possibly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think let's take up some questions now because Kohli versus Cummins. Let's start out with that because I've got a very interesting stat right here. Uh, so the stat says uh, 10 innings, 82 runs, 5 wickets.
Oh,
Kohli just averages 16 against Patrick Cummins. Not a great stat if you are a Virat Kohli fan and an Indian fan because Patrick Cummins has always kind of trying to trouble him. It's not
yeah.
very evident, but it's been a battle which is not clearly won by Kohli compared
Yeah.
to any other bowler which he dominates.
Absolutely. 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 And I think the Australian conditions help in that as well. I think we've seen Pat Cummins even with his action and how we've seen him over the years. He's a hit the deck bowler, and those are the kind of bowlers that sort of get the antics done in a country like Australia. So now here we are accustomed, or the English people are accustomed to someone who floats the ball like a Jimmy Anderson or
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
Stuart Broad. We've seen
Hmm.
someone like a Mark Wood. Of course, he's
Hmm.
very sort of not very, but still early in his career, in his international
Yeah.
career. Can't be sort of as successful in terms of swing when we talk
Yeah.
about as like a Jimmy Anderson or a
Yeah.
Stuart Broad who sort of float the ball in the right areas up
Yeah.
front. So I think I would hope that Pat Cummins doesn't really adjust much to the conditions and he starts bowling those lines and lengths which really suit him. I hope he sticks to his hit the deck bowling, which might prove good to be because we've seen
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
conditions that are not bouncing as much, which is England.
Yeah.
Of course, there is bounce as compared to India,
Hmm.
but not as compared to Australia.
Not as
So,
much. Yeah.
we've seen the likes of Shubman and Virat Kohli get on
Yeah.
top of the bounce pretty well when
Yeah.
the odd bouncer has come in their way and into or to England. So, I just hope it's that, and I hope King Kohli, just sort of does his thing, and
Yeah.
really hopes are all on him today.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look, the couple of battles which they both had, one was in a very bad series which Virat Kohli had in 2017 against Patrick Cummins, where he was not looking like the Virat Kohli of
Yeah,
him. He was kind of injured as well that test match. Then 2021, that 36 all out kind of reminds me, got him out there. That every day, everyone had a bad day there. So let's not bring that up. So yeah, I mean, these are some of the battles. But if you ask me personally, Kohli has tend to deal with them a lot better in terms of how
mm,
he has gone about in some of the tougher conditions. So I don't think
absolutely.
that's a big concern. But I think one bowler, I think as we speak about the Australian squad, I will bring his squad ball in. I won't bring him up
Yeah,
just yet. We'll talk about him
yeah,
as we talk about Australian squad. But let's pick this up. There's another point of concern here. Ishan Kishan or KS Bharat. KS Bharat, beautiful keeper. You can say one of the safer glove men out there in the country. Not played any cricket. He was benched the entire IPL because Saha was the preferred option of Gujarat Titans. Ishan Kishan hit form towards the latter end of IPL. He looked like he was gaining form, he was like gaining confidence. And
yeah,
Ishan Kishan kind of brings the Rishabh Pant kind of a flavor, but not exactly. I don't want to compare them both at
exactly.
all. But just in terms of their X factorness, what he can do if he goes out there and does a job. Let's remember, it's his first test match if he's ever going to play this match. And it's not easy for to make a debut in a WTC final. And
Absolutely.
conditions like England, of course. So
Yeah.
you reckon Kishan gets that, or Bharat will be a preferred option considering the continuity factor?
Man, that's the thing for me again. If I would have been here, I would have picked up Kishan. I had no doubts, but I think they're gonna go with Bharat, man, now because I think थोड़ी सी ना unnecessary, how should I put it, like I feel I'm just a kid who's watching cricket from a distance like millions others, but I think unnecessary सी चीजें, like they say, oh no, it's his first test match, it's a final, and like Bharat is not a seasoned campaigner, is he? Bharat bhi naya hai abhi, so I don't
Yeah,
think there is like much to pick out in terms of sort of experience in term, and we've seen Kishan. Of course, you can't compare the formats, but he has had much more international exposure than Bharat. He has
yeah,
scored a double hundred in ODI cricket, and like he has hit form. Kishan has been playing more, and throughout the years, I never understood why Riddhiman Saha was in the Indian Test circuit for the last 10 years. I don't remember one innings from Saha in which he has flourished. I think Bharat seems to be the exact replica of Saha to me. To me, it may be an unpopular. You look at throughout the course of cricket history, the best wicket keepers in terms of batsmen have been those who counter attack, because it's a place. 5 down, 4 down, 6 down is a place where you need someone who can handle the new ball with a bit of aggression. Because if you you're already 5, 6 wickets down. You start defending the new ball, which sort of comes in around at that time. You get in trouble. You look at the likes of Adam Gilchrist. You look at the likes of Brendan McCullum in his early days when he used to come 5 down. You look at the likes of England ka Matt Pryor. Fantastic. These guys average 35, 40.
yeah,
But those 35, 40 are some of the most valuable runs any player could get you, because they
yeah,
come in thick and fast, and they come in
yeah.
sometimes with the new ball, the second new ball, and as well as
I think
when
the
the team
best
is trying to
example for
struggle.
India is Rishabh Pant's case.
Exactly. I
He'll
was going to
just
come to him.
come in. We
Exactly.
have won overseas test matches just on his ability alone, where he can come in
Exactly.
at number 6 and turn the course of the game single-handedly.
Exactly. When others, like we should all applaud what Chiteshwar Pujara and his mentality has done to the test team,
Yeah.
but in conditions that are unplayable, when someone like a Pujara and his company fails in terms of defending, we want someone like a Pant who can actually counter attack the side. That's why I just feel Kishan 5 down, 4 down, whatever. I think he has to be there, but I don't think he'll start. I don't.
But you know
It'll
what,
be
Antariksh, I just like to disagree with you on this because
go on, go
I
on.
personally think Bharat has got the ability to counter attacks because I've seen a little bit of Bharat in England tour where he went to India A shadow tours in
Hmm.
2016, 17, 18 during that period of time where he
Hmm.
was playing this kind of innings where he could come down the track, counter attack, and
Hmm.
I think we've seen very little in terms of what we've seen of Bharat in that Test series against Australia. Even there, the kind of innings which he played was all counter-attacking innings. I mean,
Hmm.
the pitches were really hard for the batters. If you look at that
Yeah.
series, a lot of batters scored a lot of runs, except for the last Test match in Ahmedabad, where it was a flat
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
think I'll give that slight bit of edge to Bharat, considering he's a very good
Hmm.
glove man. And with my only issue with Kishan is whatever I've seen of him in international cricket, against quality bowling where the ball moves around a little bit, he is out of place. And you're talking about this
Hmm.
match in England where you're going to see possibly the toughest bowling attack he's going to
Yeah.
face at this stage.
Yeah.
So it's not going to
Absolutely.
be easy for him. And for that very reason alone, I think Bharat should be preferred.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a very close call. It's a 49-51 call at this point of stage, looking at
No,
various factors, left-handedness,
that's what I'm
looking at.
saying. If we take like a lot of things into account, like almost everything, and you look at the responsibility and how they've shaped up and stuff, I have no doubt. I think that Bharat would start. But if you personally ask me where my heart goes, it goes
Yeah,
towards
yeah, I
Kishan.
understand.
But yeah, yeah. Can
Yeah.
we call India chokers?
Prakash has got a very interesting question, nail on its
Damn.
head. Can we call India the chokers? Now, 10 years, no ICC trophy. Before we move on to Australia finally, is this tag valid? Or should we take this question up lastly? I think we'll take this question up lastly because before we
Yeah.
take up,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
we take
Yeah.
up Australia
Nice
first.
question. Yeah.
It's a nice question. We like to have a debate on that because it's very interesting. Can we call
Yeah.
a team chokers when they come to finals all the time and perform consistently, or because they fail to deliver in trophies? So yeah,
Yeah.
Australia scored. They're pretty much clear in terms of what they want. It's like David Warner, Usman Khawaja opening with Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne at 3 and 4. Then Travis Head, and they've got Cam Green and Alex Cavey. That looks like
What a
their top
team,
seven at this
man.
point of the stage. And then they have Mitchell Stark, Nathan Lyon, Patrick Cummins, and then Scott Boland. That looks like they're playing 11. Pretty much very simple. Not a lot of headaches. They're very clear in terms of how they want to go about it. And what do you reckon about that squad?
Man, what a filled squad. I mean, as you kept sort of jotting down the names, I was like, what are like one down Steven Smith, you have the legendary openers, then one down Steven
Yeah,
Smith, two down Labuschagne. You have Cam Green to hit the ball left, right, and center. You
yeah,
might have Carey who can do the counter-attacking role. Then you come down, Stark can bat, Cummins can bat, you
yeah,
know, even Lyon can bat. Boland maybe not, but let's leave one
yeah,
player. And then in terms of bowling, you have Boland, you have Lyon, who seems to be a B-Tech modern day off spinning Shane Warne. He seems
yeah,
to be getting wickets in the hardest of conditions for a spinner. So he's that, and like through sheer great line and length. So man, I again, Cam Green, he can do it with the new ball. And Cam Green, I people might be sort of कि ये क्या इंसान है, but I'm really scared of Cam Green and Scott Boland
yeah,
than
yeah,
Pat
yeah.
Cummins in these conditions.
Exactly. Same,
Man,
same.
you remember that player Colin de Grandhomme
Yeah, 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 yeah,
he bowls at 115, but he swings the ball from the practice
yeah.
pitch to the main
Yeah.
pitch. He is that guy. And same with Cam Green. He's not
Cam Green, I
very
think, is a better version of him. Is an updated version. It's like a
exactly.
Ben Stokes model kind of a bowler.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Add a little of Ben Stokes and Chris Wokes in him. And then he is the sort of the finished product for what he can do.
Yeah,
He can open, he can counter attack. He is good with the new ball, with the bat and the ball. So like I mean, he is one hell of a player, and we have seen it with Mumbai Indians. He has that
yeah.
confidence. Pretty scary team. Pretty
Mhm.
scary team. I can't
Yeah,
find one weakness, something to target. I think it
yeah,
has
yeah.
to be a combined effort. You have to take 11 down by our 11. I don't think it'll be,
I mean,
you
yeah,
hit them there, you hit them
that's
here.
why
So
it is a final showdown against possibly the best team out there. It's not easy to defeat them.
exactly.
I mean, if I have to pick up one weakness of Cam Green, it's when the ball moves into him a little bit towards the
Hmm.
initial part of his innings. And that's why I think Shami and Siraj are going to be so vital against Cam Green in this test match. And similarly, even with Marnus as well. Marnus and Steve Smith, Steve Smith, I think, averages more than 60 in
Yeah.
Oval. He's got a phenomenal record in Oval. He's scored a county 100. Two players who have had enough number of red ball matches, Chiteshwar Pujara and Steve Smith, and they both played for the same team as well. So they both have coming up against with piles of runs under their belt.
Yeah.
Chiteshwar Pujara spent last 2 months in England scoring a lot of runs, captaining Sussex. So that's a good thing for India. If you look at Australian squad for the matter, the only issue with them is let's take out Cam Green, David Warner, and maybe Steve Smith. None of them have played a lot of cricket since last 3 months. So that is a major issue. But if you compare Indian squad, everybody's got enough cricket under their belt. Now,
Yeah.
how do you pick that out and balance it? Because you can say rest matters. On the other end, you can say, we are still in rhythm.
Although that seems to be a fair point, but Abel, as we've discussed it earlier, be it any sport, finals are played on the day, isn't it? Like if this would have been a series, I think that this would have been advantage India in terms of the experience and sharpness of the players. Of course, rest is important, but too much rest is like of course, so lack of match sharpness. That's how we define it. But finals are played on the day. I think you could have a hero from anywhere. You could have a Carey score 100, which he's never done probably like properly at such a big stage, of course. And then you could have someone pick up 5 wickets, and that's why finals are played on the day, or if we call it in 5 days in the World Test Championship. So
Uh,
I think it could be. It's just who steps up to the plate and who's better, coping with the pressure, and which 11 sort of just forms a higher formidable ground on the other
yeah,
11 and just
yeah,
take up the pressure pretty well. I think
yeah.
it's going to be that, man.
This way, I think we should come to Prakash Mandal's
Yeah.
question as well, because this is the right time to bring it up. Finals are played on the day, as you rightly mentioned. Is it getting too overwhelming for Team India, especially the finals and the Uru of the back, right? Like, oh my God, the monkey of the back, as they say. Can we break it? The Champions Trophy, the 2019 World Cup, the 2021 exit, 2022, the T20 World Cup exit, 2021 World Test Championship. Is it like now a monkey of the back, which is like trying to put India under so much of pressure? Most of these players are the same bunch of players who have experienced failures over the last 10 years. And maybe except for Shubman, you can take out Rohit, Virat, Ajinkya, Chiteshwar. They've all underwent failures
Yeah.
and in longer period of time. Maybe you can take out Siraj, rather than that most of them have underwent failures.
Yeah.
So that going to be a little bit of a burden for Team India leading into this final? Because I don't think the choker tag is rightly valid, because Team India has
Yeah.
won something. It's not like we've not won anything anytime at all. We have done well. and we've just not done it in the last
Hmm.
day. That's the final,
Yeah.
maybe last bat 35 minutes, bat 45 minutes of cricket, and that's really taken that away from us.
Agreed. Yeah, but I do think, India, of course, when we compare it to the likes of South Africa or maybe a New Zealand here and there, we're not that category there till now, but I think we could be called as chokers to be. I think we're like a couple of steps from there because I heard this. There's this very I can't remember his name. There's a very candid guy on Instagram, and he talks about Indian cricket, and he was like, हाँ भाई बीसीसीआई का रेवेन्यू सारे बोर्ड्स को मिला के भी 10 गुना करके है and we have all of these players we have all of this domestic setup and so soon to be superstars players coming in out every year and every month and then कोई भी आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट आता है ग्रुप स्टेज पे हम केन्या नेदरलैंड्स आयरलैंड इन सब से खेलते हैं और जब असली बारी आती है खेलने की दैट इज द फर्स्ट गेम व्हिच वी एक्चुअली हैव टू परफॉर्म वी लूज बिकॉज ग्रुप स्टेज में ही सेट ग्रुप स्टेज में तो तुम पाकिस्तान से भी हारते हो न्यूजीलैंड से भी हारते हो बट
Mm.
किनिया बांग्लादेश वेस्ट इंडीज को हरा के सेमीफाइनल में आ जाते हो एंड व्हेन यू एक्चुअली हैव टू विन यू स्टार्ट लूजिंग. So where is the although because we
Mhm.
have even discussed we've been getting to semifinals
Yeah, yeah.
and here and there, but is it really difficult to get into ICC
I mean,
semifinals considering how
I
big
would
Indian
slightly like to disagree. I know it's from a very funny and
yeah
satirical
yeah
point of view, I just
yeah
put,
yeah
but you look at 2019 World Cup for that matter, we finished on top of the group. It was a round
yeah
robin stage. We almost defeated every team. And
every
come that particular day, we just couldn't. It became a 2-day affair like the IPL final, and we just lost it. New Zealand got better conditions. Or even WTC final, the last time around, we did well. We did well to
yeah
restrict New Zealand.
I think it's got more to do with the recent T20 things wherein we have had to
Yeah, I think
face
T20 World Cup. I think T20 has
yeah
been in a
the
complete regen in terms of the new players, and that's one
yeah
format we have to crack. But at least in Test format, I still
yeah
believe. I think the
absolutely
conditions
we've
are
been
so odd that
phenomenal.
we go to England and play time and time again the final. But if I have to say, and Australia starts as slight favorites because of uh, because of that conditions which is an offer and
Yeah,
toss matters, and given the fact that India are faced with a lot of injuries, no Shreyas, no KL, and these players are so vital to our hopes, especially in overseas.
absolutely.
No Rishabh, so I mean Rishabh has been so massive. Rishabh has been our best Test batter
Bumrah, man,
outside India.
Bumrah.
So I mean,
How
the
we would
moment
have
you knew
loved to
there was
have
no
Bumrah.
Rishabh, you knew there was this huge deflated energy around the camp. What we do,
Absolutely.
what are we going to do without Rishabh in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in the World Cup and
Imagine
whatnot?
just, imagine just having the both of them, Rishabh and Bumrah. Like we suddenly are a different team altogether. Like we are ruthless and like with a purpose. We seem like a purpose. But let's hope, man. We
Yeah,
have a very red hot informed player in Shubman.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
hope he sort of takes care
So
of
yeah, we've
the
got two
proceedings
players
there.
like Virat and Shubman in great form. Rohit, this is so important for Rohit to come good in English conditions. I know T20 hasn't been really treating him well, but I think Test match as a Test batter, he's been really really good in overseas conditions for Team India. You look at
Absolutely.
Australia tour, you look at English tour last time around. He's really fine. Rediscovered himself as a batter in Test format, and I think he holds chances of India if we're to cross the line or put up a big
Absolutely.
score if India are batting first. Not to lose
Absolutely.
early wickets in clusters.
Absolutely.
That's so important in overseas conditions.
Again,
And
I like the
Ajinkya as
fact
well.
that I like the fact that they don't Rohit and Shubman when they start the innings they don't play those aggressive shots, but they also score at a very healthy rate, which I think is the perfect combination in conditions like these. Like they don't go away hitting shots left, right, and center here and there, but they also sort of score with healthy run rates, which I think is pretty pivotal. Yeah, getting the odd boundary here and there every over. So yeah,
Yeah, I think Kushagra has a very interesting question. I think it's going to be a game of batters because it's baller friendly conditions at this point of stage. And who's going to bat well is definitely going to win. And that's been India's biggest issue.
absolutely.
India, whenever they batted well, they won test matches. So it comes down to the very fact that India bats well, they win the test match. Because I think Indian bowlers are very good in terms of picking up 20 wickets very often now. But India's batters have let India down in all overseas test matches, wherever we have lost. So
Absolutely.
it comes down to the
Absolutely.
batters. It comes down to Ajinkya Rahane. It comes down to KS Bharat if need to be to score those vital ones. Ravichandran
Yeah.
Ashwin, Jadeja. I think Jadeja, we're not speaking about him enough, but it'll come
Yeah.
down to him once again in a big final
Yeah.
to take India over the line.
Yeah.
So
I think we saw the IPL final and how CSK did it. I think if we could take something of their book, everyone, if not many big scores and if not someone
yeah,
outperforming everyone, I think those little scores
Yeah.
40s and 50s, and maybe
Yeah.
a big score, 90, 100 here, and we could post a very healthy target because we know they have a couple of very big names who
Yeah.
could get the big runs for them.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
don't even do that, and there are some, as we said, like CSK-esque, that final-esque, if we
Yeah.
take out some runs from everyone, I think that should be pretty healthy for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think 380 if India batting first, 380 should be ideal for India. Should aim for
Absolutely.
anything. No. We're not looking at 500, 550. 380 is great in
Oh,
oval
of course.
and considering the conditions. And it's cold right now. Whatever I know, I was just checking the weather. It's 12 degrees Celsius out there. It's very cool. And the pitch out there is green. So if you're put to bat first, you're going to have tough 2 hours of first session, which is not going to
First
be easy.
session.
So it's about how you survive the first session. If India are winning the toss bowling first, I think there'll be slight bit of advantage to pick up at least 3 to 4 wickets first up. Take out the backbone of Australia, Warner, Usman Khawaja, Smith,
Do you
and
think
Marnus, then you're right
do
in
you
the
th-
game.
do you think the toss winning team would choose to ball first? Like, would they be chasing in a final?
I mean, you can think from two perspectives. Whether are you
Yeah.
going to take it to the game to the last innings already, or are you going to stay in the present by saying that let's use the best out of
Hmm.
the conditions, right, which is an offer. So I think maybe India will choose to go for what is an offer because India wouldn't
Right.
want to go be tested against Stark and Cummins in that
Yeah.
first session where the ball is moving around quite a lot, and India do not want to be 5 down at the end of first session. India want to
Hmm.
maybe get a little bit better batting conditions, which is day 2, day 3. I think India will back themselves to chase it down, considering it could get flatter. So
Hmm.
that's where I
Right.
get.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you with that. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's about it from us. We will be back. Maybe we can come back tomorrow as well to preview and review what happened the
Yeah.
previous day. We can keep doing this on daily basis. So thank you guys for
Absolutely.
joining. It was a pleasure taking all your questions. We hope India gets their hand on that IC trophy test mace because we always had the test mace. Now that the WTC, the tag is there, it's now even more important for us to get hold of it because we've been the number
Absolutely.
one team for last 8 years. It's only fitting that we win it and keep and actually justify that we were the best test team of this era. And it is only fair on these players as well because they've done a phenomenal job. Now, when it matters the most, can they do it or not? Thank you guys for joining us and follow our Instagram page, subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you all of this content. And if you're an aspiring analyst, do check out our courses with Mad About Sports. This could be a stepping stone to a great career in cricket analytics. Have a good time, all of you, and bye bye.